Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and today I'm doing a discussion over Books of Time, one of the newest games by Philip Glowix? Yep, that guy. And the publisher is Board and Dice. So, this is a game that I don't even remember seeing, but I saw that it was Board and Dice, and I'm like, well, I gotta give it a shot because it's Board and Dice, and all of their games that I've played, I love, that I can think of. And Philip, the name looked so familiar, and I'm like, what do I know that from? And the only game that I can see of his that I have played is Founders of Teotihuacan, which a lot of people didn't like. I liked it. And that's pretty much it that I've played from him. So I don't know if he's just been linked to other games, but yeah, that's the only one that I immediately recognize. And so Books of Time, the concept of it is you are making your own book. And so everyone has these 3 different books of varying colors of red, green, and yellow that kind of correlate to different themes. Like, if I remember right, so green is industry, red is science, and yellow is trade. And there are a bunch of these different cards that you will actually take and put them into your book. Like, literally they have page punch outs that you flip. And that's the gimmick of Books of Time. So, what do I think of the overall gimmick and books and over the game? I think this game is good. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's one of Board and Dice's favorite. I'd probably put it at around the same feelings I had of Founders of Teotihuacan, which I know a lot of people for some reason didn't like, but it worked for me. I thought it was a solid polyomino thing because I also didn't relate it to Teotihuacan in any way whatsoever. But this is kind of a really neat, kind of a feel-good game. You're not going to be strapped for resources. You're going to be able to complete your objectives that you're aiming for. Because everyone gets these different types of objectives that could be worth a lot of points at the end of the game. And your turn feels powerful enough. So, the one thing I absolutely hate about this game, though, is its storage. Like, oh my god, there are, just, because of the sheer nature of, these, like the little, whatever these were called, if they actually have a name, the clasps for the binder bindings, yeah, it's kind of just, hopefully it all fits. But you have a chronicle book, which stands on, I'm trying to see if there's, I'm really just trying to make sure everything stays. But basically, you have this chronicle book that will have a certain number of chronicle cards in here. And that is kind of the timer of the game, because once everyone passes, the page gets flipped. And like I said, there's a bunch of different cards. And on your turn, you basically you write pages, spending pen or paper to pull pages into one of the books, and they have to go into the matching book, so red cards go into the red book, and so on. You can do the action on your pages, which could be, hey, I'm going to spend these pages, just discard them from my options to go up on these tracks, which then let me move up on other tracks, which then give me a bunch of points, which I could use to get these pages to slot into my book, which is going to help me with my objective, to remove that objective, so then I can get to the lower tier, which is going to be a lot more points. There's a lot of really, I wouldn't say cool combos, but they're simple yet effective combos. And that is kind of like what I'm imagining, at least the 2 games of his that I have played, is that's kind of his design philosophy, from my understanding. Is nothing's extravagant. You're not making these bomb-ass, oh yeah, this is the best, it feels amazing. But it feels good. You feel like you're doing stuff. You feel like you're progressing. And sometimes these kinds of games are really nice to play, Because, yes, there are the ones where you can sit there and crunch and be like, okay, I need to do this, and that's going to allow me to get that very specific resource. And if I get that one, I can use this ability, and if I use that ability, then that's going to allow me to do that. And then that's an 8 turns from now. That's fine. Like, there are definitely times where I want to play, but there are also times where I just want to leisurely play a game. I want to look at the pages that are available and see, oh, that has a symbol that I need. Okay, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to do this action from the Chronicle that allows me to just... I'm trying to find just like one immediately that it would be super beneficial. I'm going to do this action that is going to let me get rid of this red card that I'm not going to get and get 4 pieces of paper. Because of those 4 pieces of paper, I can do this action in my book to discard paper for 3 points. And what's kind of cool, again, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick! That, because here's like all the, and you just shuffle this deck together. And it's like, oh, yeah, so, this action in my green book, I can get rid of 2 pens for 3 paper. Well, that 3 paper on my next turn, I can turn in 2 of that for 3 points. And that's in my actual book. So you are legitimately kind of writing out your engine for your book. And you're not going to be able to do them all. Or if you do them all, they're not going to be amazing. You're going to even out on points, or you can go all in on 1 and maybe a little bit on 2, which is kind of what I did. Last time I played this, I didn't even touch the red book, even though I still did actions from it, because you do have starting cards in here. Like, everyone has the same starting cards, but then that's it. But then you slot them in here, and that's how you're writing it. Oh, you do this action. This action is, okay, you can spend 2 paper to get rid of the top part of an objective and get a point, and then you flip it. And now each card has a back action, which is very neat, because you can do an action to do those. So, 2 paper for 3 points. Or the other side, which is 1 point. Another action you can do is to just kind of close a book, this is where it gets kind of, now again, not amazing, but still good. Because then, if you have a thick book, when you close it, like if you take the time to get to the end, when you're closing it, you do the backside of every card. So in this case, the 2 pages for 3 points. Get rid of 2 cards to go up on the red track and get a paper. Spend a pen and a paper to write a yellow or green. And then get 2 paper. And then it closes. And closes it, and it basically opens up. That's kind of how you go back to the very beginning of your book. And I think this is just a really interesting gimmick. My biggest concern with this game overall, and if you ever had these types of binders in school, is I'm worried that they're gonna start warping. Because everyone had that because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to use the little tabs on the end, because that's how you prevent them from kind of like bending. Because whenever you use your fingers to pull them apart, like eventually, and you close it, eventually they just won't clasp together. They're going to be like that weird diagonal, like where it just doesn't mesh anymore. And that's what I'm worried about with this. I will also say that when you are constantly taking cards and writing them, like, because you take them and you have your own little board, like kind of like this, just this like little line in front of you where you place cards in front to be able to be written. If you have actions that let you write pages, and by write pages it basically means, oh, here are my available pages that I took and held for me, and writing is putting them in your book. And what's also neat is every card has a write effect. So if you write this yellow card into your yellow book, you get a paper. Everything in this game is giving you something, which is nice. Like, yeah, you're going to want to save up, but there's only 2 resources, there's pen and paper. So you don't have to manage a bunch of other stuff. And you're just always kind of able to do something. But back to my original point of kind of like, it does eventually get annoying because you don't really get to a point where your books are so thick that when you close it, like it's like sitting super fat. Like you don't have like this massive book with like hey, I got every page, every red card is in my red book. But it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this action to write another red. Okay, open that up. Okay, let's put the red in there. Close that. Okay, it's your turn. All right, you're done. My turn. I'm gonna do another action. Okay, I'm gonna spend these resources, get another red, open it up. Put the red in there, close it. Like, you kind of will do that a lot in the game. And while the gimmick works, like I do like the aesthetic of actually having the book. I haven't seen anything that utilizes anything like this. Eventually, it kind of gets to a point where you leave them open. So whenever you're turning a page, okay, you just now do that, and you just gonna do this action that I need. I'm gonna spend 2 green pages that I have to get 2 pen and a point. Okay, did that, sliding it over. Oh, I got to the very end of my red book. Oh, I think I'll do the action to close it. Okay, that's gonna do that. And it's still pretty much just as easy to do that without ever having to clasp them. And that's just kind of like a little fiddly. Like, I mean, it's not like so bad that is like, oh, that makes this game really, really horrible to play. But still, it is something I thought that was worth bringing up. At the end of the day, this isn't one of Board and Dice's best. In fact, I would probably put it at kind of the bottom. I'm like, all the T-Series games are better, in my opinion. Except for maybe one. Maybe better than Tabanusi, but I'd have to replay Tabanusi. I remember liking it whenever I played it because it was so different, but I haven't played it since. And I haven't played Trismegistus. But I don't think this game is bad. What's also neat is the artwork, like on the cards, is all described in the rulebook. Yeah, in the page's description. So not every page is unique. There's definitely repeat, but I thought that was cool. Like describing, hey, okay, here's the science pages. Here's the industry pages, and then is that it? There's industry and science. Yeah. What's also nice about this game is it is actually simple. Like, this game just makes sense, and that is, I think, a really nice thing, because some of the Board and Dice games that come out, it's like, alright, this is pretty complex. This is not mid-weight Euro, this is kind of on the heavier side. You can get that from Tawantinsuyu, Tekhenu, expansions included, Teotihuacan can kind of be that way. This one is a very nice, just solid Euro game. And I also like the fact, because at the end of your turn, you do a Chronicle event. Well, before or after your action, you can do a Chronicle event. Like I said, this is where the variety of this game, I wouldn't say it's insane, because you do kind of just go through the motions a little bit. But the Chronicles cards, you basically shuffle these and take a certain number out of them, and you put that into your Chronicle book, and this sits on a little, what are they called? They are called, it is called a lectern. It sits on a lectern, which is like in view of all players, and it kind of is an open book, and on them you can do the left or right action, which an action for you from your own book, you can do both in any order, but before or after you do your actual action, you can do an action on one of the Chronicle books. And then after everyone goes, the page turns, which is your timer. And that was also nice, like doing something extra, be like, ooh, I'm actually going to do that Chronicle event, because that's going to help me do my actions on my own book. So, yeah, I don't really have any major complaints about the game. Like, the variety of the game isn't insane, even though you would think it would be with the, like, with just the sheer amount of cards. But I mean, you only can do so much. You have 2 resources available to you. The objectives that everyone has, which are color-coded, you get a yellow, a green, and a red objective. They're not varying, really. Like, they are different, but it's like, the yellow, you need certain icons in a very specific order in your yellow book. The red, you need certain symbols just somewhere in your red book. So all of those are like that for every player. It depends on, for the yellow, the difference is going to be what order are these symbols going to be in. That's the major difference. And I think that might be why some people could be turned off from this game. I heard literally nothing about it. In fact, as soon as we got it to play, we're seeing people selling it for super cheap, and I'm like, yeah, go figure. But yeah, I think you'd have a good time. So on the scale of 1 to 10, Books of Time gets a 7. I think it's a good game. If someone asked me if I wanted to play it, I'd be like, sure. It's like, even if it's a month later, I'd be like, can I see the play? Like, can I see the player aid? Oh yeah, I immediately remember how to play. That is nice. This is one of those. I think this game deserves to kind of be played because there's too many out there where it's like, I don't remember anything about that, and I just played it last week. That's kind of where it can come in. And this one, it was a delight. Played it, felt good, and I'm like, cool. That was a game that was played in a good way. Because sometimes you get these games and you're like, that was made. That could not have been more of a 5 out of 10 game in that I've seen ever. And this one, funny enough, almost has that feel. It almost feels like, yep, that was a game that was made. But I think, honestly, the book gimmick and the combos that you still get do bump it up to where you're like, that was good. I don't really want to play it again immediately afterwards, but I'd play it again. So I'm going to give Books of Time a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.